Good morning. How you doing, Kathy?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
You know what I found yesterday? I was at an open house and I don't know. I maybe we need some, you can help me with this, but only one of the buyers that came through that said they were working with an agent knew about the August 1st change.
I'm not surprised. I mean, I don't think it's surprising that you said only one that wasn't working with a agent,
No,
or
they all the ones that I asked everybody. There was one person that didn't have an agent, but most of them did. And I just said, you're working with an agent full time. I said, yes. I said, great. Then you know about the August 1st change. They didn't know.
no? Oh, huh?
Nope. It
How,
was,
how many people were
it
there?
was only one of all of them. 17. This is an opportunity.
That's a good turnout, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I got an
What
offer
was
this morning, so it should go through, hopefully.
what was the price point?
650. And I did stage it really well and good photos and I did everything I could to make it, as good as it could be. And Um, so we did get a cash offer so far. We'll see what happens. But I found it interesting that one of them said, "Oh, I thought there was a change in October coming up," and the other ones just had no idea.
An opportunity to be the knowledge broker, right?
I don't know. I'm just curious now.
Good morning, Marlene, Fazia. How are you doing?
Good
Good
morning, Rob.
morning.
Good morning,
Good
Marlene.
morning.
Yeah, so we're just talking about Kathy did an open house, 17 people. Only one 16 of them were had agents and only one knew about the pages, right?
Yes,
No, that
Are
was
you saying that the agents didn't know or the clients?
the
Which part?
client. The client
client.
didn't know anything about the change on August 1st.
Well, that's in New Jersey, August 1st, but they probably didn't even know about the 17th either.
No, they wouldn't know that either.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, Marlene?
Good, good, good. How are you guys? Good morning, Faz. Good
Good
morning,
morning,
Justin.
Marlene.
Good morning. Happy
Good morning,
Monday.
Justin. Happy
Yeah,
Schmonday, I call it.
It's good. It's a good new week, right?
yeah,
Well,
great.
yeah, you have a birthday coming up and Rob has a birthday coming up. So yes.
Actually, yes. No, actually, Erica has a birthday coming up, Alexa, and then September, we've got August and September are the big birthdays, all the
Excellent.
birthdays.
Yeah.
Very
So,
well. And Justin, real quick for you, do you use buyer's agency agreements in Virginia somewhat or not at all before this change? Yes.
You have to excuse me. We're just going for our morning exercise walk here. So we have always been using it, and we'll continue to use it. So nothing really has changed too much here. That's been a common practice that we've been doing.
And pretty much everybody's been doing it there, right?
I can't speak for everybody, but I know that we have. But yeah, so I really can't speak for everybody else. I know that there's times early in my career too where I would go out and just to try to get somebody out engaged, shake some hands. Yeah, come on, let's go take a look at some properties before having anything signed. But it's been a few years of that stopping that.
Gotcha. All right. So then this is not a shock for a lot of your people as far as the buyer agency piece, which is good. Maybe we'll lead into one of our upcoming sessions to see how you for the Fridays, how you have been communicating that process to your clients. Um, so anyway, basically today, I wanted to talk about compliance with the rules, which is probably why nobody's going to show up for this meeting. Everybody said, delete. But as team leaders, I want to make sure that you are given the tools that you need to share with your team members how to be both proficient and compliant with what seems like never-ending changes are coming down the pike. I am meeting with Fred tomorrow morning, and Fozzie and Elizabeth, maybe you to, can do the Florida one, we can keep a single page with the most recent updates that are going on, so we don't have to keep looking back and forth to where the changes are. And then in New Jersey, we'll have it on our hub. You know, Justin, I guess it'll stay the same for you. You'll, Miss C will have to keep it posted. But, I think that's gonna be a good way for me and our brokerage to get the information out to the agents and team members. But I think as team leaders, we probably need to start talking about this, so that it winds up becoming a opportunity. Isn't that what you said, Kathy? You see this as a tremendous opportunity because nobody really knows about it. Kathy
Yeah.
Falco, right?
It is topical. I mean, it was surprising to me at an open house that there were so many people that really had no idea about what was coming up. And they were working with agents.
Yeah, so this can be, you know, this can be a stress point, frustration, or it could be an opportunity. And I think if as team leaders, we use this as an excuse to stay in closer contact with and to retool our team members to be proficient, this is going to be a huge, you know, business opportunity for us to grow. You know, I was talking with Donna, maybe, you know, having a particular point in time where agents can come and ask questions instead of getting, I think I had probably 17 or 18 text messages this weekend asking me questions about when, like, New Jersey has changes that are happening on August 1st, asking me about how does this form change? What do I do with existing transactions? And my head's going a mile, you know, 100 miles an hour, and I don't even know the answer to, for tenants, you know, does this change the game for tenants? I don't, landlords need to provide seller, property disclosure other than flood in New Jersey, but does this change the game for buyer agent? Do we need to do a buyer or a tenant agreement for all renters? I haven't even thought about that. Anybody know the answer to that?
Well, in Florida, Rob, I think it would depend upon if it's a condo or if it's an apartment community or if it's a townhouse, because they all have different governance. And going back to your first statement and putting it on one area. So are we going to follow the BBA by state, or are we following BBAs by MLS? Because they're all different. And I believe that's where the confusion lies with a lot of the agents, because they're attending MLS educational formats for BBAs. And we are going to follow the state Florida BBA.
Ignorantly, what's BBA?
Buyer broker agreement. So I gave it an acronym because everything in real estate needs an acronym, you know.
So I think that we have far too many, like in New Jersey and other areas, we have far too many MLSs, and I think we need to do it statewide, and there will be changes by MLSs, so that will be another frustration point that we're gonna have to work. This is an opportunity for us to, you know, show our leadership to our team members, and for Oz, you and I to show our leadership to our team leaders, giving them the and I apologize, I don't have the ability to come in public Wi-Fi, and I could not log into Zoom. So if you're not talking, if you could mute, that would be greatly appreciated. Charles, do you know, after that meeting that we went to on Thursday, do tenants need to have a tenant agreement, or are they not affected by all these changes? Or does anybody know that answer? I think everything has been, you know, buyer seller. I didn't see anything that was tenant driven. Anybody have any input on that?
I haven't seen anything that said tenants are required.
Hey, Rob, it's
Okay.
Charles. I'm just checking my notes from the and our brokers. And the replay note in here, they said that the seller's property condition disclosure does not apply to a lease situation, but I'm checking my notes to see what it said, what they said about the buyer's agreement.
Right, but I think they do need, don't the landlords need to, in New Jersey, give the flood notice to tenants, correct?
I thought so,
No.
but he made a blanket
Yes.
statement in the call.
Right, but they don't need the property disclosure, but they do need the floods, they do need the flood disclosure. And,
Mhm.
Correct.
and lead,
Yes,
lead
that's
paint
correct.
and lead paint test.
Mhm.
Here's how are you as team leaders keeping in touch with all your team members without having them contact you individually every time something comes up and saying, hey, what am I supposed to do here? Are you doing weekly, daily meetings, special meetings? What's the way that you're handling that? And then after you guys share with me, I want to get some input on how we could maybe have office hours for agent questions instead of fielding them nonstop.
I do exactly what you said, Rob. I have office hours,
And is that on the same time every day?
3 days a week at the same time every day.
Okay.
And
Rob,
I
for-
just sit on a Zoom and let them join in. And if they don't, then I just go about my work. If they do, then I do it, whatever they need.
And is that like for half an hour?
Half hour.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking of instituting that until we get through this, where we're broker on duty for any questions, and maybe it's even at some point during the day, and then maybe for evening for people who work, or are out with clients during the day.
I was going to suggest that, Rob, we should have a hotline, one for Florida and one for New Jersey, and then the brokers, myself, so forth. It's kind of like floor time, but we rotate on the calls because I think that's the only way outside of your mastermind and us constantly educating them. There are people that don't join and really just don't know. So I think we
Right.
should institute maybe a hotline.
So I'm thinking a half an hour, 3 days a week is probably sufficient, and maybe we need to do an evening or two for people who are people who are working or out with clients, and the reason I say that is I think for efficiency for team leaders and for our leadership team, it will put less stress on the system for having to address that question individually over and over and over and over and over again. And it also gives everybody an expectation, because I know a lot of times when people are inquiring with me because they didn't read or they haven't kept up, like, oh, I feel so bad, I'm bothering you, but can you, this way we make it where they don't feel like they're imposing, and B, it's manageable for us if we did those office hours. Glenn, what time do you do yours at? Like 2 o'clock?
12:30 to 1. And one recommendation is you need to set very clear guidelines as to why they would use that call, because it got pretty wild in the beginning part of it.
All right. Now you got me spinning. How so?
They would just, they would bring up things that were discussed 4 or 5 times. I started to create an FAQ based on the office hours. That way they could refer to the FAQ before they call in. But it was just, you'd have the conversation in the morning, and by 12:30, the same exact question was being answered, and they were on the call, right? So whenever I get on the call, I would always say to them, great, that's actually a question. If it was like an ad hoc call during the day, because they're still going to call during the day. The people who aren't paying attention to everything, right? So they're going to call you anyway directly. And I always say to them when they call me, I go, hey, this is a great one for, the midday office hours, not for now. I actually correct them in process, because it just, they'll use, people are kind of disrespectful with time, very frankly.
So, no, I think it's a great observation. Even in our New Jersey team, it's, we have all the different managers getting hit with the same questions, and they might even, have somebody start the question with one and finish with another. So I think these office hours would be great. Do you think?
Hey, Rob.
What time? Yeah. Good, Paul.
It's Paul. It's Paul. Good morning. Well, I started doing something that's helping me out a lot, and I took an idea from Glenn, a couple months back, about the huddle in the morning. So I do that at 9 o'clock, 9:15, and I'm using a system called Read, AI. So it pops into my meetings. And so when my meeting starts, Read AI goes in. It's a participant, and it's like my assistant. And it records the meetings, and it grabs like the key topics and what was discussed and so on. And now I have the option, Read AI, like 10, 15 minutes later after the meeting's over, it generates a report. I have the option to send everybody a report of what happened. And it also then gives me a weekly summary, that I can then send to the team and say, these were the points that we were discussing this week. It keeps us in communication with what's going on. And even if somebody's not paying attention to a call, like Glenn was saying, they can't pay attention to everything. Maybe if they get this Read AI report, they can, better, answer some of their questions that they weren't paying attention to.
And what's the what's the expense for that, Paul?
I gotta see. I think it's not too much. It's a per user license on Google. I'll check and I'll let you know. But it's not anything crazy.
Okay. Suggest, like, if we're gonna do maybe we do one evening, and during this transition maybe we do like 2 evening and 2-day sessions for agents if they have any questions, kind of like a open mic for questions, concerns.
Yes, and I would even entertain a weekend. I had so many calls this weekend because of open houses and so forth. I think a weekend would be important as well for Florida. I'm only saying this for Florida.
What time do you think would be if we do it an evening and a day? You think 6 at night and 10:30 in the morning?
Yes, because you're looking at after-hour clients, right? So after-hour clients, that means there's those after-hour agents, your part-timers that are probably working with them. So I would say yes.
And do we do the morning and evening on different days, right? This way, in case somebody has a question on the day that we're not on in the morning, they can do it in the evening.
So your most questions will probably come on a Monday, because Sunday there's nobody to answer questions. So I would definitely do a Monday.
So Monday, Wednesday, 10:30, and Tuesday, Thursday at 6. And then we'll adjust this after we get through all these changes. Does anybody have any suggestion or changes that with those times?
No, I would just suggest you gather up an FAQ and send that out based on the questions that are asked, because I'm sure a lot of people will have the same question.
Agreed.
FAQ by state. Okay, so I will talk, we'll talk with Elizabeth and maybe even Deborah, and I'll talk with Jonah and Fran about New Jersey. We'll get it going. And unless you have anything else, we can end a little bit early today, because I wanted everybody to see that there's a lot of turmoil and there's probably a lot of opportunity. And to Glenn's mission about hiring people, being that the public is so misinformed, that means that the agents aren't doing a good job at educating them. So maybe that's another angle, Glenn, that we could use to grow. Agents
Yeah, without a doubt.
agents aren't.
And the recruitment piece, Rob, the information session that I have regarding this, it's 15 people, and the irony is I talked to a couple of them, and they really don't understand this. I mean, some of them are saying they want to drop out of the business because of it. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like stunned.
Did you have your session yet, Glenn? And how was that turnout if you did?
No, it's on the 6th, and it's 15 right now.
Okay, it's going to be interesting to hear the feedback.
Yeah, I've run it once for the team, so I'm just kind of repeating it. But I mean, even the team who was educated pretty well, they didn't understand the mechanics of the form and being able to talk through it as though it's a sales pitch, right? Right,
because they need to stop looking at Facebook social media posts and reading everything that is untrue. This is what I'm finding.
Yeah.
Right. And there's another thing I just want to mention and put out there is as team leaders, and all of our team members are people first, and they have opinions on politics. I've seen a couple of, one in Florida, one in New Jersey, where, people are just destroying their careers in our company by putting out political statements that are just getting, tremendous and, some, I'll call it horrific responses. So, we need to, talk to our team about social media and, especially political, opinions, because, I think the best example I have is, Michael Jordan was being, rattled because he wouldn't endorse anybody in one of the political cycles early on in his marketing career. And he said that I don't touch it because both Democrats and Republicans buy sneakers, and both Democrats and Republicans buy houses. And when you introduce politics, and I see Bobby Golden's on the call, are you able to talk for a second, Bobby?
Sure, go ahead.
I mean, I'm sure from our dinner that we had in Vegas, there's somebody that you have a tremendously different opinion of because they were just obnoxious on politics. And you probably never would refer a transaction, and rightfully so, to that individual, correct?
That's pretty accurate.
And we might have even lost a recruit over that who was down there with us. So let's talk about not being political, and especially on social media, because it could be very, very, it can only hurt us. I mean, you're not going to change anybody's mind, in my opinion, and you're going to alienate half of your potential clients, or potentially half your potential clients. So please, I know you might say that's common sense, but you probably want to at least have a policy with your team and say, look, we'll have our own political opinions, or most of us do, and it's best served if we don't share them publicly, because it could hurt not only them, but it could hurt the entirety of the team. All right.
Yeah, Rob, you have a good point too. Just if anyone's recruiting, you should be looking these folks up too. I just had someone that applied for an interview with the team, and he was literally a walking HR violation and a fair housing violation, like on social media. So it's just, you got to do your homework on these folks.
Yeah, I mean, don't assume that they have good common sense. I mean, it's very emotional what happens, and people take their kitchen table conversations to social media, and it can be really problematic. So I applaud you for joining on a Monday in the middle of the summer, and let's have the best informed team members that we could possibly have, and Fazia and myself and New Jersey leadership will do our best part to support you in that.
Hey, Rob, real
Thank-
quick, I sent you a few screenshots for Read AI on your text messages there. And the most, the middle plan runs $22.50 a user. $22.50 a user a month. So it's like $270 a year.
Okay. Very good.
Check it out. Might be helpful.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Okay.
So everybody have a great week, and stay tuned. We're going to do our best to over communicate, give you the resources to direct your teams to take some of that burden off you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Rob.
Rob.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.